Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to tonight's MIAA soccer game here at South Hadley High School. We'd like to thank everyone in attendance for coming out and supporting these teams. Fans, tonight marks that bittersweet time where we commemorate the careers of those who won't don the black and orange again come next fall. These 6 athletes have grown on and off the field, bettering themselves as players and as people in the process. Tonight, we congratulate our class of 2025 seniors. Before we begin, we'd like to welcome the seniors from the visiting Frontier Redhawks. Number 4, Ben Kachawango. Number 9, TJ Donovan. Number 7, Will Redding. Number 5, Tavo Warner Vincent. And number 10, Sam Bakari. We wish you all the best in what you choose to pursue. And now, your 2025 South Hadley Tigers seniors. First up, number 24, Cooper Skibble. Cooper will be escorted to midfield by Spencer Parsons. Cooper's being joined at midfield by his parents, Jennifer and Daniel, as well as his brother, Hunter. He plans to go to 4-year college to pursue some form of engineering.
What'd you say? Towards the snack shack or the porta potties? Oh, okay.
Next up, number 11, Kovacs.
Both will be walked out to midfield by Danny Boyer. Joined at midfield by
head coach Byron Joy. Also joining Moki at midfield is South Hadley Tiger, number 10, Carlos David. Next up is number 2, Jackson Keller. Jackson will be escorted by Anthony Adams. Joining him at midfield are his parents, Suzanne and Brian, his brothers, Hunter and Brody. Jackson plans to pursue sports management in college. Next up is number 10, Carlos David. Carlos is being escorted to midfield by Nolan Massey. He'll be joined at midfield by his parents, Amy and Orlando, as well as his friends, Adam and Matthias. As well as South Hadley Tiger, number 11, Moki Kovacs.
I didn't mean to. I'm going to zoom out.
And last but certainly not least, number 14, Jack Shagney. Jack's being escorted by number 9, Matt Gillis. He'll be joined at midfield by Diane Franklin, Dan Shagnon, Nancy Shagnon, Jolie Shagnon, Decelia Shagnon, and Marion Edgar Shagnon. He plans on pursuing his education and furthering his soccer career at the college level.
Should I move over?
Fans, let's hear it one more time for your 2025 South Hadley Tigers seniors.
After this, you want me to go down to the porta potty? Wait, you want me to go over there now? Alright.
You get one looks like a camera.
Yeah, I know. Am I good? Should I move anywhere, or is this good? Is it metal?
Fans, please remember that high school athletics encourage good sportsmanship, and we ask that your conduct toward players, coaches, officials, and other spectators demonstrates good sportsmanship and respect for all in attendance. And now please enjoy tonight's game between the visiting Frontier Redhawks and your South Hadley Tigers. It's now time for tonight's starting lineups. First, we welcome the visiting Frontier Redhawks. Starting in goal, number 1, Jack Kusan. Number 4, Ben Kachawongo. Number 9, TJ Donovan. Number 6, Max Millette. Number 8, Gus Radner.
You want me to start
Number
there?
11, Ian
Or you want me to be there?
Number 17, Aaron Larson. Number 12, Carter Miller.
Oh, it's not the same as football?
Number 3,
It's not the
Diego
same
Frazier.
areas?
Number 15, Casey Bessler. And number 18, Henry Pleasant. The head coach of the Redhawks is Evan Horton, assisted by Matt Zarotny.
Oh, yeah, actually. Let me try that.
And now, the starting lineup for your South Hadley Tigers.
Yeah.
Starting at goal, junior, number 1, Noah Kirillin. Junior, number 12, Ethan Markham. Junior, number 19, Ben Gillis. Junior, number 9, Matt Gillis. Junior, number 4, Anthony Adams. Senior, number 11, Moki Kovacs. Senior, number 18, Joe Saborin. Senior, number 24, Cooper Skibble. Senior, number 2, Jackson Keller. Senior, number 10, Carlos David. And senior, number 14, Jack Shagney. The head coach of the South Hadley Tigers is Mike Gothier. He's assisted by Jack Gothier. At this time, we ask that you rise if you're able to, remove your caps, as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
I don't have a...
Another year, another senior night. Tonight, we're back covering boys soccer. It's the South Hadley Tigers taking on the Frontier Redhawks in our first ever collaboration stream here on South Hadley Sports Network. Tonight, FCAT Media joins us for one night only. Good evening, everybody. For South Hadley Sports Network, I'm Brady Dennison, alongside Mason Smith for FCAT Media. Mason, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, Brady. I'm really excited for this game. The stakes are pretty much as high as they can get in the regular season. It's the league championship here. Both of these teams with matching records in their own conference, and it's going to come down to this to see who is going to come out on top.
I could not agree more, as that PA read is way louder than we thought it would be.
Well, I'm in like a different, like I'm in a a divot in the fence right now.
These teams have faced before, Brady. They already played once this season. It was a 2-0 win for the Redhawks last time they faced, and one of only 2 losses for the Tigers. Their other most recent loss was against the Hampshire Raiders. That was also 2-0. But since then, they've been on a 7-game win streak, so they're coming into this game pretty hot.
I mean, it's not to say that opponent rating doesn't take a principle there, but the Redhawks are doing pretty damn good too with an 11-1-2 record under head coach Evan Horton. Tigers start off with a throw-in here as Ethan Markham.
Evan Horton's been with the Redhawks for several years now, and he's got a pretty good reputation underneath him at this point, Brady. He's brought them to several state appearances, including last year when they went all the way to the Sweet 16.
Tigers under head coach Mike Goff here, his second year at the helm. Spent multiple years with junior varsity though. Took the reins from head coach Eric Castanway after the Tigers state championship back in 2022. The Tigers have been with Coach Goff here since. Not the greatest record this past year, certainly a rebuild, but the Tigers are looking to get back into state championship contention this year. I believe that's Ian Pachorik, something out there.
Yeah, he's one of the leading strikers for the Redhawks this year. Even though he's a junior, he's been a reliable force on the attack, and now he forces a corner kick early in the game.
Corner kick set up. No more touches there. Pachorik trying to get it in. Now it'll be Carter Miller. South Hadley gets possession back. It's going to be Loki Kovacs on the far side. Tripped up there. It's going to be Frontiers ball.
Yeah, rough fall right there. Both guys went down. But the last time these two teams faced, Brady, it was also a really tight match until very late in the game. It was 2 late goals from the Redhawks that gave them the win over South Hadley earlier this season. But for most of the game, a good 60 minutes of it was scoreless.
You can count on athletic saves like that from Noah Carillon all game. Noah, not expected to be a keeper, smaller stature, but he is agile. And you're not going to want to face him once you get into that 18 or even that 6.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Frontiers goalie Jack Cusson. He's very young as well, only a freshman, stepping up into that position after our senior Owen Babb left for DA this year.
I believe that one grazed the uprights, so a field goal for the Frontier Redhawks.
We have that happen all the time too at our home stadium as well.
Anthony Adams setting up goal kick here. Somewhere around the 45-yard line, touch there from Moki Kovacs, and it's going to head back to that's Cooper Skibble, actually. Troy tried to get a shot off there, but Noah Carillon's able to cover.
Trying to get that through pass up to Henry Pleasant, but just a little bit too far ahead. It was good coverage on the back line for the South Hadley Tigers as well.
South Hadley prides himself on having a strong set of backs, and looks to be Skibble, Adams, and Jackson Keller back there this evening. Senior night festivities. Cooper Skibble doesn't tend to get into games as frequently, so we might be seeing a substitution, maybe a Gavin Bosty in the coming minutes here.
And that also is a point of pride for the Redhawks as well. Both of these teams very evenly matched, and we're going to be saying that all night, Brady, but their back line for Frontier mostly taken up by some younger players, but the star of the back line is number 4, Ben Cachawanga, wearing the captain's armband tonight. He's one of the most solid players on the team, very reliable on the one-on-one too.
Not gonna lie, I don't think I've seen Frontier's boys soccer program since my freshman year, once we faced off in the Final Four. And I recognize some of these guys. They got some minutes in that game, and yeah, there's some familiarity on this Frontier roster for me.
And there's definitely familiarity on the field between all of these players. They already faced each other this year, and they faced each other in years prior as well. I mean, both of these teams have a history with each other.
I'd like to think of it as one of the better rivalries in the Moriarty division.
Absolutely.
And as we said, it will be decided tonight. Both teams 5-1 in Moriarty contest play. In Moriarty contests.
Looks to be an offsides call there on the Redhawks, so that will turn the ball over. And it's worth mentioning that this is not the last game in the Moriarty Conference for either team. South Hadley has one more game against East Hampton, which is in the Moriarty Conference, and Frontier has one more game, their last game of the season, coming up this week on the 18th against Southwick. So this will decide who wins it, but not quite the end of the Moriarty Conference in this season, Brady.
Tigers have yet to really start up their offense, as Ethan Markham heads it out of play there. Tigers looking to regather as Cooper Skibble trying for it. That's going to be South Hadley's ball.
Looks like it. A little bit too much physicality from Henry Pleasant there for the ref's liking. And that's just, you know, that's the way the ref goes sometimes. Sometimes they let them just play, and then as the game goes on, they crack down a little more, or they set the tone early on, Brady. It just depends on what group of refs you have.
And as expected, those non-typical starter seniors are going to get pulled here as Gavin Losty and Brady Graham come up to the line to sub in. Throw in here from Frontier.
Yes, Jackson, good job.
Ball gets taken there by Jack Shagnon. And it's back to the keeper, Noah Carillon. Sends it up toward the 35-yard line. Headed there by Joe Saborin. There's number 3, Diego Frazier. Tries an outward pass toward Carter Miller. Roll on the line there. Cooper Skibble does his best to keep it in, and it'll head out of play.
And I think that is going to represent a lot of what we're going to see tonight, Brady. Just a lot of, you know, trying to lob it in to your attacking area, trying to get something to break through the back line, and then one of the defenders or the goalie to just send it back out. And a lot of battling in the midfield as well.
Carlos David on the attack here. He's looking to get it past the defender. Finds Matt Gillis. And offsides is the call. Carlos David been the main offensive force for the Tigers this year. 13 goals and 10 assists on the season. The senior this year played his junior season at Chicopee Comp, but he's back in South Hadley, and he's tearing up the league.
He definitely was a big force in the game against Frontier earlier this year as well. I remember watching him a lot, and I mean, just beyond anything, his speed was just so phenomenal to watch, and he really is a very talented player, Brady.
You're going to see a lot of Los and Jack Shagnon just for their leadership quality, as they can be deemed as going above and beyond on the field. As that's going to head out. They're calling that to be Frontier's ball. Thrown in there, out off the hands of Frontiers. Number 18, I believe that is, Henry Pleasant. And Brady Graham and Gavin Losty go in. Joe Saborin and Cooper Skibble come out. That'll be it for now for those two seniors, but the juniors taking their places will take them well.
It definitely is a bright look on the future for both of these programs, that a lot of their players out there tonight are not seniors. They're juniors and they're sophomores that are making a lot of impact on these games and on this season.
It's been a major impact from a lot of the juniors. From South Hadley, you look at guys like Anthony Adams on the back line. You look at Noah Carillon, the goalkeeper. Matt Gillis, one of the Tigers' top strikers, as well as Brady Graham, putting in for some goals. Ethan Markham, Gavin Losty in the back. Those are just to name a few. The Tigers, as deep as they come, force a high school team. Ben Gillis trying to advance it there. It's stopped by Frontiers number 8. That is Gus Radner.
That's us.
And Gus Radner has stepped up a lot this year, Brady. Last year, it was Chani's son that took up his position and his number on the field. He's since graduated last year, and Radner has really risen to the occasion this year, become one of the best midfielders on the Redhawks, up there with Eric Larson, just in terms of his ball control, and you're going to see that a lot tonight.
he's going to find the ball in open space. There's Anthony Adams for South Hadley. Finds Moki Kovacs around midfield. Ethan Markham sends it out of play there, and it'll be Frontiers ball. It'll be Casey Bessler with control of it. Or no, it will be Carter Miller once again.
Goes the other way.
Crew looking a little different for Sports Network tonight. Nick Jimenez takes the mixer, and Rahan Shahid on center cam, and on our two other cameras, it's Quinlan Randall and Logan Lewis. Of course, the main Sports Network guy, Colin Zaronic, will be on the field for part of tonight, as he does play soccer. And of course, we've got Miss Amy Foley, our teacher advisor, and I believe he just left a few minutes ago, but Dan Pease, the studio manager at SHG TV 15. Without him, our operation is not possible. Ethan Markham trying to center feed there to Jackson Keller. Gavin Lossy comes up with it, finds Brady Graham. Brady Graham in the backfield today, not usually. He usually tends to play mid or striker. Ball's going to head out there off the leg of Ben Kachawongo.
And this is the first real offensive chance I think we've seen for the Tigers so far today, Brady. Let's see how they can approach this first opportunity.
Kovacs on the far side, pass to nowhere, and it's going to head out of play. Spencer Parsons, the sophomore, and Ariel Atalo, the junior, to sub in. They're going to take the places of Ben Gillis and Jackson Keller. And now Nolan Massey's going to head in as well in exchange for Moki Kovacs. As the wind starts to pick up. Definitely an interesting night weather-wise here at the South Hadley Memorial Turf.
I think it was raining earlier today. It was raining where I was. I don't know if it was raining down here.
It was raining here, and we were actually worried that we would have to make some arrangements to bring in our cameras, because I don't think we have umbrellas down there in case it does start raining. So
yeah, I checked the forecast coming down here, and it doesn't look like it's supposed to rain, but hopefully that the weather will stay in favor of us in this game. Great feed forward to Donovan.
It's going to head back to Kachawongo. Able to find Max Millette there. Now Gus Radner back with it. Trying to feed, I want to say that was Henry Pleasant. Back to Kachawongo. No substitutions for Frontier as of now. South Hadley made a few changes. Big kick there from TJ Donovan. It's going to find Henry Pleasant, but South Hadley's able to take control back, and it's Noah Carillon, the goalkeeper, who will take it.
And like we were saying earlier, Brady, it's that control in the midfield that Frontier has right now that's allowing them to go and make those offensive attacks. However, they haven't been very successful on them so far, but having that base in the midfield is where all of that scoring opportunity starts.
South Hadley's lucky to have such a good back line that they're able to shut down those chances. Whereas some of their strikers, they're known to, what's the best way to put this? They want more control of their shots than they should need. They can have a beautiful ball on the left side and just keep wanting to go right.
Yeah.
So Tigers they like to take the perfect shot as opposed to the most logical shot at times.
Yeah, it's those small differences that can really separate greatness from a good team.
I couldn't agree more, Mason. Brady Graham tried to get a chance there, but it ends up being picked up by Jack Cusson. Off the leg of Spencer Parsons. They're headed. A big jump there from Gavin Losty. Get that kid on the basketball team.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's a great vertical.
Heads back into the possession of Carillon. He's going to send it right out of play. Thrown in there by, I believe that is Carter Miller. It's going to head over the fence. That's going to be South Hadley's ball. Or a goal kick, Anthony Adams to take another.
And something I've been noticing, Brady, is a lot of the offensive opportunities that Frontier's had so far, they haven't had a lot of support from their attacking midfielders. It's just been Pleasant and Pachurek Every once in a while, Donovan gets up there on the left side, but it's mostly been those two that have really made the offensive pushes so far for the Redhawks.
And we see a lot of the contrary from South Hadley. A lot of our offensive chances have been quarterbacked by those midfielders, like your Carlos Davids and your Jack Shagnans. We're not seeing too much of Jack tonight as he's playing further back, but I'm sure we'll see more of him later in this half and in the second. Spencer Parsons with control right now, whistle blown, a little too much physicality from, I believe that's Gus Radner.
Yeah, he's kind of known for that at Frontier. He's a very physical player, and a lot of the time it works in the Redhawks' favor, but sometimes he can just, his emotion gets a little too high, and he just wants the ball a little too much, and it comes back to bite them.
I can tell you, one of our more physical players, Brady Graham, he's known to be a little hot-headed, he's prone to getting cards, and there's a good ball for Matt Gillis, but he's not able to connect on the head.
Great chance for the Tigers, and a good denial from Cachawongo to get it out of bounds.
Looks like Graydon Gifford on the line to sub in.
One of the younger strikers for the Redhawks. He had a few minutes in previous games as well, and a start recently, his first start a few games ago, which is big news for him.
Tigers don't tend to start, I believe he's a midfielder and a striker, Ben Gillis, but he got the start tonight over Ari Awatalo, who has since made his way into the game.
And now we got a whistle in the box. Ref trying to explain something, it looks like. I saw a body hit the floor, but maybe just a talking to here. That's what it looks like.
I've seen this official multiple times, and he's known to be one of the more strict, I guess is the word, in officials.
Nothing wrong with the talking to, though, just remind him what he needs to be doing. And that was a good ball in, a little bit too far, but a few chances there for a header, maybe to chest it down and control it for the Tigers.
Looked like Ethan Markham wanted to get all of that one, and he just couldn't connect on it. And in comes Graydon Gifford.
And that's the common substitution you'll see there, giving Henry Pleasant some time off. And the common substitutions for the Redhawks is that offensive shift. Pleasant and Pachurik, and getting them some time to just breathe on the bench. And Gifford is their main guy to do that.
He's going to head back out of play, and Frontier maintains possession. Tigers with a surprisingly good turnout tonight. Usually boys soccer games don't generate too much attendance, but it shows that the students have shown up for their seniors.
It's always great when you can see that. A good student turnout can also really boost the performance in the game, actually.
I knew it, bro.
You guys get good crowds at Frontier for boys soccer?
Most of the time, yes. Especially senior night was really, really great, and we had a game against Hampshire that we ended up tying them with, and that was probably the biggest crowd I've seen for boys soccer. But ironically, our biggest crowds are for our football team, which is one of the worst in the state right now, currently. But
South Hadley isn't particularly good this year either, so.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's most of Western Mass football, honestly.
When it comes to this season, football is probably our best attended, but overall, I think basketball gets the best attendance at South Hadley High.
Yeah,
they're
that
always
makes a
going
lot
to
of
see a
sense.
sixth man. They're always going to make a ton of noise, and it's always fun because when I do public address announcements for those, I have a wireless mic, and I'm able to be right next to the sixth man and try to participate.
Yeah.
It's always a fun time with the sixth man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wish we could have more of that at Frontier. A lot of the time, I mean, people show up, but they aren't there mentally. You know, it's like they aren't there, putting chants out, trying to mess with the players on the field or anything like that. It's just, you know, they're there and they're watching. Sometimes they're even on their phones.
Polar opposite at South Hadley.
Yeah.
We are ruthless.
Yeah.
Ari Alatalo working his way through the defenders. It's off of Diego Frazier there. South Hadley trying to keep possession. And Gavin Losty takes it at midfield.
And that was a great move he had against Max Millette there. Put him on skates.
Jack Shagnan's going to find Ari Alatalo. Alatalo working his way up and over the midfield line. Nolan Massey going to want to get control there over Cachawongo. Now Pachurik and Alatalo fighting for it. It's going to find DJ Donovan out on the near side there. And it's out of play off the South Hadley leg. Donovan will throw it. Noah Carillon gets control back for the Tigers. Carlos David, Spencer Parsons, and Jack Shagnon playing some pass here. Brady Graham not able to keep it fully away from TJ Donovan. It'll head out of play for Frontiers ball. There's that physicality from Brady Graham. Sometimes his emotions get the better of him, and he leads to too much physicality, and he's prone to being carded.
And now we're seeing a couple of interesting calls on the throw-in. It was originally the Redhawks throw-in. It looked like Donovan stepped over the line, and then South Hadley just took it, and then it was turned back over.
He's going to head out of play here. South Hadley maintains the ball. Ariella Talo will get the throw-in. Ari's an interesting figure. You know, hasn't had the best offense so far this year with just 1 goal and 2 assists, but I can tell you when Ari's hot, he's hot. I know we saw a lot more of him last year on the front line, though he's been pushed back to mid for the majority of this season.
Yeah, and even though you might not have the most goals on your team in this season, if you can create opportunities for goals and offensive chances, that's as good as giving your team a goal. You know, putting pressure on the goalie and being able to wear him down, Brady, it can make a huge difference in a game that's as long as soccer.
And I can tell you a thing or two about Ari. When he plays mid, he's able to get those centering feeds and create those chances for guys like Carlos David or Matt Gillis or Nolan Massey. Anthony Adams trying to keep the ball in play. South Hadley gets possession. And a big kick set up for Adams himself.
You said change my battery now? Oh.
Far side here, I believe that's Nolan Massey.
Overshot himself. It looked like he walked it out of bounds before he could get the pass off. And also not a lot of support in the center there. He had a guy behind him, and falling into play there, I believe, was Brady Graham on the right side. But just not quite far up enough for him to make a pass for a shot on goal.
Brady Graham tends to play a selfish game. Not all about those assists, about getting set up right in the box and just being able to connect on shots. It's still an effective strategy when it's used, but it's just interesting with Brady. Headed there by Cachawongo, and now it's going to be in Radnor's possession. Solid kick there from Cachawongo. Anthony Adams is going to race back for it.
And Cachawongo, I believe, has actually ended up with a couple assists this season, despite being on the back line, just because of that kick right there, sending it past the opposing back line, and then having some of your strikers like Pachurik run up, beat them to the ball, and then having a shot on goal to put it past the keeper.
Every team has one of those offensive backs. In our case, I believe that's going to be Jackson Keller. 3 assists, I believe that's the most for South Hadley, just pure backs. But, wow, Jackson's been having a decent enough season.
Bit of a collision there on the far side. Looked like the ball popped up and hit him in the face.
That's Carlos David on the ground. He gets right back up.
Yeah, will be a free kick for the Tigers, though. And warming up on the sideline, looking to come in, is Tavo Vincent Warner, it looks like. I was questioning whether he was going to come in during warm-ups today. It didn't look like he had his shorts with him, but I guess they were just under the pants he was wearing.
Big kick set there by Jack Shagnon. Matt Gillis looking to maintain possession. Can't get it away from the defense. It's Pachurik right into the back there of Ariella Talo. Over Gillis's shoulder. Kick set there by Donovan, out of play. And I believe that'll be South Hadley's ball.
Almost hit the camera there, too. And that was a lucky bounce for the Redhawks and Donovan to win the ball in the corner there to clear it out. But now Tigers with another opportunity off the throw-in if they can keep possession here.
Brady Graham trying to set something up there for either Spencer Parsons or Carlos David, but unsuccessful. Henry Pleasant back to sub in for Frontier. Why do I want to call them Hampshire?
It is the same colors. It
yeah.
was really tough when I was calling the Hampshire game against the Redhawks because there was also an Owen Miller and we have a Carter Miller on our team. So it was 2 Millers with like the same colors that they were wearing in the same position.
Yeah. I feel like they're both regional schools, both red and white, so way too much physicality from South Hadley there.
Really big hit there right outside of the box, and Graydon Gifford, the freshman, goes down hard.
Carlos David a bit too physical there. Looks to be his right leg. Tabo Vincent Warner going in now, as well as, I believe, that is Henry Pleasant going back in.
Yeah, seems to be a little confusion on the subs. Donovan went to the sideline, and Gifford being helped off right now by his teammates Eric Larson and Diego Frazier, as the free kick is being set up for the Redhawks in a dangerous place.
Legendary South Hadley athletic trainer Kevin Weber will tend to that injury. We love AT Kev here at South Hadley High. Kick is in. Noah Carrillo able to make the save.
And that's a typical take from Gus Radner, Brady. I mean, when you were talking about selfish play, that's about as selfish as the Redhawks can get with Gus Radner. Making a lot of plays by himself, fighting through just about the whole midfield with a lot of his own touches, and being too physical as well. That call will go the Redhawks' way, but if he has a free kick that's even close to being direct, he's probably going to take it on the goal himself.
Oh my God.
So kick for, I believe this is Diego Frazier.
A little bit farther back this time for the Redhawks, and still a wall set up by the Tigers.
Gets in there to Henry Pleasant, but he's not able to do much with it. Tigers get it back. It's Nolan Massey. Stolen away there by Eric Larson. Larson running circles around Nolan Massey. Gets put out of play, and that's going to be Frontier's ball.
And that's what's so impressive and scary playing against this Frontier midfield. That amount of ball control that they have with Eric Larson and Gus Radner specifically, they can, like you said, just run circles around you if they can get a good moment with the ball.
Kick set in there by, I believe, Diego Frazier. Headed there by Jack Shagnon. Gus Radner trying a shot, and Noah Carillon able to maintain possession.
That was a strange take from Gus Radner. He had the Tigers closing in on him and had an open man to his left. I believe that was Vincent Warner. Could have passed it away and maybe, reestablished some open shot there, but got on top of the ball and sent it in for an easy save.
So here's Carter Miller trying to set it upfield. Anthony Adams puts a stop to that.
Almost took the head off of some of the fans over there.
Yeah. Anthony Adams has been an absolute force on the back line these past 2 years. Played JV as a freshman, but he's made his name heard. I believe he was an all-league as a center back last season, and this year he's looking to reign that title. He's looking to defend that title.
And on the Redhawks sideline, it looks like Graydon Gifford is still having a seat on the bench. His return to the game at this point, Brady, is questionable. He was not able to carry himself off of the field. So maybe at halftime we'll be able to get some sort of injury report on his eligibility for the game.
Yeah. Ethan Markham trying to go upfield there for, I believe that's Matt Gillis. Matt Gillis and Nolan Massey continue to flip-flop between that left wing and that center striker. It's going to be South Hadley's ball in a call that has really excited Tigers fans.
And that will go against Gus Radner, I think. But he really got caught up between both Gus Radner and Ian Pachurik. Pachurik was making a turn to the ball, and his body just got caught right in between the two of them, and he took a hard fall there.
So a free kick for Anthony Adams.
Right and back.
No wall set by Frontier.
It's
Henry Pleasant will play shallow.
okay.
Kick is set in. Headed there by,
120.
I believe that is Max Millette.
That was a great ball in from the Tigers, though.
Ariel Atalo trying to maintain possession. Brady Graham trying to keep it in, but it's going to be Tabo Vincent Warner sending it out. And now Ariel Atalo on the throw-in. Finds Jack Shagnon right back to Alatalo.
What up, Noah?
Centers to Parsons, who finds Adams.
Rocket!
Headed there by Cachawongo.
That's a rocket!
New sub is going to be TJ Donovan and number 14, Grayson Bishop, who I don't think we've seen much of Grayson Bishop today.
Yeah, Bishop, he's coming in likely because of Gifford's stay on the bench right now. If his injury is permanent, he's going to get more playing time on the field, as Pachurik might have a chance here.
Stopped pretty instantly there by Gavin Losty. Try not to speak those things into existence.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, that was a bad take there as well from Henry Pleasant. He had the ball right to him, and I think it went right between his legs, actually.
Ball's going to head out of bounds, and this time it'll be Ethan Markham to throw in. Headed back out of play and right over South Hadley photographer Anthony Barra. Hopefully he's okay. Huge kick there from Carlos David, and the Tigers put 3 on the board.
That's going to go down the hill, actually.
Yeah,
Completely out of play.
That hill is such a liability. Tigers football recently got a place kicker, so we should invest in a net that goes up and above those uprights.
Yeah, thankfully for Frontier, the field that we play most of the fall sports on is in our track, which even by itself is not elevated at all. So, although I've seen plenty of fields set up like this, especially turf fields in elevation, I assume it helps with the drainage too.
This was grass for the longest time.
Oh.
And I'd want to say, Miss Foley, how long ago? 8 years ago. They put in this beautiful turf field. Just got the new scoreboard this year. Somehow it managed to come in brand new, dented.
Oh man,
That's beyond me.
that's some tough luck. Yeah, we've had some talk of replacing our scoreboard over at Frontier Regional. I mean, there's plenty of projects that people want to have done there, including AC in the gymnasium, which is a student favorite, I'll say.
I can tell you at South Hadley High, our sound system for this side of the press box isn't great, as well as the sound system in our gymnasium for basketball games. Always muffled. But I can tell you for baseball games, which I'm the team manager for baseball, they're always... The sound system is honestly really good for the baseball team. But on the turf side of things, not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a give and a take, you know. You get a nice turf field like this and a new scoreboard, and the sound system will come later, I suppose. Hopefully quick enough so that you can have some fun with it. But
hopefully, but I wouldn't place bets on it.
Yeah.
They spent thousands of dollars on a new scoreboard. I don't think they're willing to spend the money on that new sound system.
Just the way it goes sometimes.
Around 6.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Tigers and Redhawks still tied at 0-0. We keep saying it's a close game, and I mean that reigns pretty true when your score doesn't have any marks. Some great chances for Frontier. Some decent ones for South Hadley as well, but it's definitely been more Frontier's game as of now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said earlier, Brady, it's because of that control in the midfield. Being able to have a firm possession of the ball and have guys that you can pass to and just be calm in the midfield is a huge advantage, especially in the early points of this game. Not being able to capitalize on your offensive possessions, though, might come back to hurt them.
In the meantime, South Hadley looking to get an offensive chance here. Stopped pretty instantly by Ben Cachawonga.
Both backlines have been really solid tonight, Brady. It's been impressive to watch them.
Noah Carillon slipping on his big kick there. That could have been far Tabo Vincent Warner coming back in for Frontier.
Now he'll be the sub for Henry Pleasant with the absence of Graydon Gifford on the lineup, it seems.
More Massey almost getting a chance there. Gavin lost it against Ethan Markham. Stolen pretty instantly by Pachurik. Pachurik working his way into the box. Stopped there by Anthony Adams.
And I think that'll be a throw-in, although it's hard to tell from our angle here up in the press box. But this is what happens, Brady, when you have so much offensive possession on one team. The defensive line, despite how good it might be, begins to crack.
Brady Graham sets up a huge kick here. Perfect setup for Casey Bessler. Definitely not his intention there. Now Eric Larson trying to work his way in. Larson able to get it past Parsons, not past Alatalo. That'll be TJ Donovan. Another field goal. Anthony Adams will set up a goal kick on the near side.
Whispering.
And it looks like something's actually in the box right now. I don't know if you see that next to Carillon. It's to his left. It's something white that's on the field.
I believe that's one of the cups that they use to make the seniors' numbers. That's tradition at South Hadley High. Anytime there's a senior night, all their numbers get made out of plastic cups and put down there on that end zone fence. Brady Graham trying to work his way through the defense. Now Ethan Markham sets up Graham on the right side. Graham looking to get past Kachawongo. Little physicality from both of them, and it'll be Frontier's ball.
And that was a great take from Ben Kachawongo, getting there in time, putting his body between the ball and the attacker, and just letting it go out of bounds. He knew it was out on the Tigers if he didn't touch it, and he didn't. So, I mean, another great take from the captain as we're winding down here in the first half.
I think the clock got messed up too, so we have a little less than 3 minutes. Jack Shagnon in traffic there, finds Brady Graham, and Spencer Parsons looking to get to open space. Graham's going to get tripped up there. The call will be in South Hadley's favor.
And yeah, and for soccer, the clock tends to stop. I believe for the first half it's at 2 minutes.
Yes.
We have the stoppage time that's held by the referees down on the pitch.
Space there. Matt Gillis trying to head it in, and it's picked up there by Cusson.
Just not enough speed on the ball. It was a great opportunity for the Tigers, but ended up being an easy save for Cusson. If there had been more juice on the ball, I mean, it could have gotten blown by him really easily.
That'll be Grayson Bishop falling there, but it'll be South Hadley's ball. Not too much time remaining in the half.
Rocket!
Headed there by Kachawongo, falls off Massey. Now Brady Graham trying to get past the defender. Graham gets it away from Donahue. Donovan back to Markham. Gets out of South Hadley's possession there. Gavin Losty trying to work with it. Gets tripped up there off of Losty. That's going to be Max Millette.
An effort there from South Hadley to get themselves back in defensive position as the free kick is set up by Diego Frazier of the Redhawks.
They won't rush too much. I don't think they realized the clock got messed up. Frazier sets up the kick, headed by Adams into an open lane for, I believe that is Max Millette once again. Up over Anthony Adams, Carillon able to hold on to it. Rolls out to Ari Alatalo. Alatalo finds Gavin Losty. Losty up through the traffic. And that'll be Frontier's ball.
I guess a handball called there as it jumped up towards his face. And we're now on ref time here, under 2 minutes, and just waiting on their whistle to go to halftime.
Could be one of the last few chances for Frontier this half. Big kick set up by Frazier. Headed by Parsons. Gonna roll out of play. Frontier's ball again.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Millette will pick up the throw-in. He's kind of their go-ahead throw-in guy for most opportunities for the Redhawks.
Kachawango getting a shot away here. It's wide. And the ref blows his whistle twice. That signifies halftime. Tigers and Redhawks still locked at 0-0. We will step aside. South Hadley Sports Network and FCAT Media back in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's out for the game. And also number 18, Henry Pleasant's out.
Back for second half action. The Tigers and the Redhawks still tied at 0-0. Starting the second half, Mason, you had updates on a couple players for Frontier, if you'd like to give those.
Yes, I do, Brady. Number 23, one of the younger players out on the field regularly for the Redhawks, Graydon Gifford. He had a rough collision halfway through the first half of this game, and he is out for this game. It was a leg injury, and we do start the clock now, okay. And the other update we have was actually unbeknownst to me until I went down and asked about Graydon, is Henry Pleasant, number 18. He will not be returned to the game either for the Redhawks. Apparently he had a tough fall against the keeper. But now I'm lying to you because I'm pretty sure I'm seeing him out on the field right now, unless my eyes are deceiving me. Number 18 on the left side wearing the little hat right now.
I was going to say, he appears to be
I
wearing
think so. Well, the coaches told me he wouldn't be returning, but I guess he is. So,
By the way, this stream is very competitive. You are not a reputable source, and we will be contacting. Clock is still messed up, people. All right, we're all set. No, I think it got turned off by accident. Anyway, Frontier looking to work on offense here. Ben Kachawango looking toward Diego Frazier. Tigers looking to get it back.
It's got 93 left.
And that's going to be Henry Pleasant again falling, so maybe some extended complications there, but hopefully not.
he looked all right running off from it, and the coaches said that the complication with him had nothing to do with his legs, it was his arm. So one of his arms got messed up when he came down against the goalie as Frazier sends the ball in too far. But this is something that the Hawks will be looking to do a lot, I think, Brady. Chip it past the back line, because the back line has been playing more and more farther up as the game has progressed, trying to catch the Redhawks off sides. And if the back line, like we were talking about before, an assist from Kachawango to send it down the field over the back line, if those strikers can beat out the back line, they're going to be able to get a breakaway opportunity against the keeper, which is exactly what they want here.
I think a lot of the defense is for the Tigers is carried by that back line. Noah Carillon, as much as he's a great keeper, sometimes he gets caught off guard and his size gets the best of him.
Absolutely.
So that back line has to be extra vital in that. And I think that's part of practices. I feel like the back line gets that extra attention because of that. And that's why you see such skill from guys like Markham, Varsity, and Adams.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing with Frontier. You look at Jack Cusson. They very similar stature from these two keepers. And because of that, you have very similar necessity for the back line to excel each and every game in order to help out with their keeper. And honestly, in every keeper, regardless of their build, you need a back line to help you out because you can't be 100% consistent every game. And, you know, like you said, you just get caught off guard sometimes, and sometimes there's just nothing you can do about a great ball sent in by a phenomenal striker. You know, that's where your back line needs to help you out.
A soccer keeper is one of the hardest positions in sports. I will say this time and time and again. You look at whether it's PKs or it's, I guess just PKs. When you see, I was trying to think of what the word was for like shootout overtime, but then I thought it's just PKs.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, guys, I'm getting the
A
sniffles.
shot go to the left and then a goalie's just flailed to the right. It's tough, especially when players are in that close.
Absolutely. Mentally, it's such a taxing position, especially in those specific circumstances. And, I mean, because you're the last line of defense. If you fail, that's a mark against your whole team. You know, you can see the strikers, they've failed time and time again. In fact, they haven't succeeded once in this game so far because it's scoreless. But we aren't talking about it because that's just regarded as normal, you know? And that's just the way the game's played. And that is a direct hit to someone in the stands. Wow.
Yeah, the Tigers no-scoping these fans at this point. But yeah, if a keeper fails, it's a mark, it's a tally, it could be the deciding factor in a match.
Yeah.
And when a striker fails, you know, they can shake it off and move on because they'll get another chance.
Yeah, almost always. There are exceptions to that, you know, especially in penalty kicks, because everything is magnified in penalty kicks.
Yes.
But in the regular season, we don't even see overtime. We'll see that more once we reach the Western Mass and States tournament, which both of these teams will be qualifying for the Western Mass tournament and might actually face each other there.
Yes, and I know right now the Tigers are, I want to say, 10th in Division 4. So
Yes, I believe that's right.
So we have decent seating for states.
Yeah,
Do
the
you know where
Redhawks.
Frontier's at?
The Redhawks. Well, actually, this was a big story for us because we had a tie against Hampshire, which actually put us ahead of them in the divisional rankings for a minute. Which actually put us at number 2 in the whole division, and now we've dropped back down to 4. Just because no one expected us to even tie with Hampshire, because Hampshire was supposed to be a lot better than us. And I can say, I mean, Hampshire they're a really tough team.
Soccer powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Year in, year out. Hampshire, on the boys and girls side of things, has been good at soccer for as long as I can remember.
Oh yeah, me too.
There have been the big soccer schools. I know Ludlow was really good in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
But since then, it's been mostly Hampshire. On the girls' side of things, South Hadley's been really dominant, winning a ton of Western Mass, and they just won states back in 2019. And the boys have been climbing up recently with their states run in 2022.
Yeah, the tough thing for Frontier's girls squad, they have a great record this year. I think only losing 2 or 3 games so far, but their strength of schedule is really bad, so their divisional ranking is not great at this point. I think they would barely scrape into the states tournament, even though they have, by a long shot, they won their league undefeated this year. So they had a great regular season, but it doesn't equate to the same thing in the postseason.
That's a huge problem for South Hadley baseball. We play pretty... Noah Grillin, huge save there. Glad I got tripped up there so I could make that a little better of a transition. But we're not here to talk about baseball. The Tigers' strength of schedule in pretty much all sports. As a D4 school, the Tigers are pretty much sound. But
yeah,
you move down to D5, Tigers are going to be too good. You move up to D3, Tigers are going to be just way below the level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're pretty much set in stone at D4, and it really messes with opponent ranking.
And that's a big shoulder check in the corner there from number 12 of the Tigers. I think that was to Eric Larson. Markham, I believe that was.
Ethan Markham. Matt Gillis tries anything he can to block that kick, but it ends up coming back to him. Gets away from Ethan Markham, and that's going to be Eric Larson trying for it there. Kachawongo and Frazier racing for it with Brady Graham. Brady Graham able to get a touch there. Kachawongo and Graham both fighting for it. And now it'll be Jack Shagnon. Shagnon off Kachawongo there.
Wait, today comes to day 3?
Up and over, Gavin Losty will get the touch there.
Nope.
Matt Gillis finding Anthony Adams. He's looking toward Ethan Markham. An open lane, but he's going to be beat out there by Casey Vessler. Anthony Adams finds Carlos David. David working at trying to get in there for Jack Shagnon. And Frontier's going to get a touch there, preventing Brady Graham from taking possession. Huge collision there between Henry Pleasant and I believe that was Gavin Losty for South Hadley.
Logan, want to play R6 with me?
Big kick there from Anthony Adams. Sets up a great lane here for Matt Gillis.
And that was a strange occurrence right there. Radner took the free kick right away, right into the back of Carlos David. And the ref was looking away when it happened. Otherwise, I think that would have been a redo kick or maybe even a whistle against Radner.
I demand of you things.
Now a corner kick for, I believe, Ben Gillis will take it. Ari Alatalo will sub in for Ethan Markham, I believe. Yes, that is Ethan Markham. Can't miss him with his salmon pink soccer cleats. A lot of good style on the field for South Hadley. It's going to head into the 18 and not much further. Rolls off of, I believe, the heads of Jack Shagnon and Carlos David. Frontiers ball on the far side. Tama Vincent Warner back on the line to sub in.
What's happening?
As the ball heads out of play, South Hadley will maintain possession.
Hate us because they ain't us. Logan, they just hate us because they ain't us.
Jackson Keller had his senior night recognition tonight. Two-sport athlete, plays baseball in the spring. Tripped up there, and that's going to be South Hadley's ball. And a little repercussion there for Carter Miller.
A lot of grappling and a lot of physicality going on in this game. It's getting more and more as the game goes on, Brady. And, I mean, at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, when do we see a card come out?
These refs have been pretty lenient with South Hadley and Frontier's physicality so far. But I'm sure once a goal is scored, they're going to want to start cracking down on it a little more.
Seems like cracking down already. We've seen a whole barrage of whistles in the past few minutes, few seconds even. And this one will go the way of Frontier. Free kick on the far side for Diego Frazier.
Touch there from, I believe that's Brady Graham, heads right into the woods. That's retrievable. I'm pretty sure it's just a parking lot back there. But
yeah, I can see a few kids running back to grab it right now, actually.
Yeah, South Hadley's unpaid ball boys. It's a great gig for kids who like the cold. But Tigers are going to get that one back. Jack Shagnon will start with it from around 34-yard line when it comes to football. Nolan Massey trying for it there with Ben Kachawongo. Heads into Anthony Adams' possession. He'll head it into the way of Carlos David, who comes in to retrieve.
That was a good touch from David to calm it down.
Anthony Adams looking to advance it to Matt Gillis. He's able to keep it. Oh, he's not able to keep it in.
Close call.
Warner comes in.
It was a close call from the refs to call it out of bounds there. Definitely a lot of Tigers players who did not agree with that call. But I think we're just going to see more and more of that disagreement between the refs and the players as the night goes on, especially as the window for the second half closes.
Tigers' secret weapon, Joe Saborin, on the line to sub in. Joe, we don't see much of him in the regular season. He's got 3 goals and an assist on the year. I'd say that's really good for the amount that he plays, which isn't all that much. Carlos David looking to work it up to Nolan Massey, but Diego Frazier is going to cut up that chance. David another attempt to get it to Massey. Frazier's just cracking down on that pretty easily.
Great containment from the Hawks back line and defending mids.
Can't keep me out of the loop, guys.
Churik rushing to get to it in
Can't do
open
that.
space. Is going to head out of play, and that'll be South Hadley's ball.
That was, I don't know what Patrick was thinking there. It seems like he realized his mistake a little too late. He laid off the ball to let it be a Frontier not free throw, it's not basketball, a throw-in, but then realized it was not deflected by anyone from South Hadley. There was no one from South Hadley anywhere near him.
Big throw-in from Jackson Keller puts the Tigers into the middle third of the field. Carlos David looking to set up Brady Graham on the far side. Graham trying to center. Now David rolls back to Graham.
I have
Going
75.
to get into center, tried to head there by Nolan Massey. It was Max Millette who got
no.
control of it. He's looking to take it back.
That's all Dave
Can't
had
get
to do.
past Gavin Losty and Jackson Keller. And now Carlos David takes it from pretty deep in Frontier territory. Frazier trying to maintain it from the ground. Now Matt Gillis tries a shot. Knocked off there by Ben Cachawongo.
What a save from Cachawongo, and the Hawks are looking like a hot mess out there right now.
Moki Kovacs comes in with Joe Saborin, and I believe that's Max Millette down on the field. Looks to be a cramp
Yeah.
for Millette.
And some of the medical staff coming out to attend to. I think Millette's sitting in front of him. I think that's Donovan, actually, who's lying down there right now. But, I mean, let's talk about what just happened here. I mean, the Hawks have been in pretty calm control of this game so far. South Hadley just had a few chances right now, and more than a few chances. This was probably their best chance all game. They had an open shot at the net, and Cachawonga with a great challenge to knock it out of play, and now it's a throw-in for them. But, I mean, just a lot of miscommunication in the back half for the Redhawks.
Yeah, Cachawongo put it all on the line there. Donovan's going to be sidelined, and that'll bring in Carter Miller to take his place.
And I think that's a good call from Coach Evan Horton. Donovan was looking pretty gassed out there, obviously, after the cramp that he had in the box just now. But also, he just got beat a few times on the right side by Carlos David.
I don't think Coach Horton didn't have much of a choice, as Donovan was just walking off the field and sort of expected one. But
Yeah.
it was sort of a last-second change to get Carter Miller out there. Tigers don't do much with their great field position there, and now it'll be Diego Frazier.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And the scoreboard operator, well, she's trying her best. In open space, Henry Pleasant and Noah Carillon are going to collide there.
And two big calls from the referee right there. Two bodies hitting the floor from the Redhawks, and no calls on either of them. Both of them, I think one of them definitely in the box. One of them might have been just outside. But this is where, you know, the questions of how physical can they be start to come into question, Brady.
Anthony Adams looking to find Ariel Atalo. Great chemistry from them there. You see a lot of friendship on this team outside of off the soccer field. Anthony and Ari, as well as Gavin Losty and the Gillis brothers, Matt and Ben. You're always going to see them together, even when it's not around the sport of soccer. So, when there's chemistry off the field, there's going to be chemistry on the field. You know the player better you know the player better mentally. You can know him better in his playing style.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better, Brady. I mean, on the Frontier side of the ball, a lot of these players actually play basketball together in the winter. So, two teams that they spend a lot of time together on. And, I mean, it does show. Both of these teams have really great chemistry, and that's one of the big reasons why this is the league championship game, the deciding game for who's going to take home the championship title for the Moriarty Conference.
I think it's safe to say that in the Moriarty division, it's always going to be South Hadley and Frontier going neck and neck for it. Spencer Parsons and Ethan Markham come into the game. I mean, just thinking back to that state championship run, we saw it in the Final Four.
Yeah.
That was an extremely close game. Frontier had the 1-0 upside until the end of the first half. Tigers came back with a vengeance, scored one in the second, and scored one in extra time to get the win and send them to state championship glory. And that was an incredible game. I'm not sure if you were there. The snow game, that was...
Yes, I was there, and it was, I mean, one of the best games I've ever seen, really. It was just so much fun to watch. The competition, like, I don't think that I've ever seen anything as evenly matched as that, really, in any sport. And, I mean, the only team that in the Moriarty Conference that comes close to these two teams, I think would be East Hampton. I think that they're the third place team this year, and they've been on and off in past years. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the next year as well, I'd be expecting to see these two battling it out for the championship, or for the title of the conference again and again.
Vivid memories of sporting events between South Hadley and Frontier, for me at least. Matt Gillis tried a chance there. Head off the leg of Diego Frazier. Carlos David trying to get some offense going there. Heads into open space. Anthony Adams is going to let Noah Carillon handle that one.
And that's what you're talking about with selfish play. I didn't quite catch who had the ball there, but Frazier made a great stop. He shouldn't have made that stop, though, because what should have happened, ideally, is that he passed the ball away to his teammates. He had one to his right and one to his left. He had options, and he took it himself and then lost the ball and lost the chance for South Hadley.
Yeah, uncharacteristic play there from Carlos David. Usually a great team player, willing to make others successful. But, I mean, he's been the offensive champion for the Tigers this year with those 13 goals and 10 assists. It's been all Carlos this year.
Yeah, and for good reason. He's a phenomenal player, great talent, and some confusion on who was getting the throw-in there.
Carlos will likely be the most vital loss this year for the Tigers. Jack Shagnon, great defensive qualities, great scoring ability as well. Just that great all-around midfielder, but I think the majority of the Tigers' talent comes from those juniors, as that shot is way wide.
And now it's moved back to a battle in midfield, Brady. It's who's going to take over the middle third of this pitch. And right now, for the most of the first half, it was Frontier that controlled it. Right now it's in contention, and that's why we're seeing chances on both sides. Not very complete chances, I'll add, as now a sub will come in for the Redhawks.
Sam Bakari making his way into the game for, I believe, the first time.
Yeah, I believe that's right. And Pleasant coming off, trying to get a look at his arm. It looks like he seems to be okay.
Not for your shenanigans.
But he's pretty well bundled up, more than I am. He's wearing gloves, and I can't say the same for me. So.
Yeah, I've got a thin hoodie on, so we're roughing it here. We do have a heat lamp in the press box here at South Hadley High.
It's definitely better than outside, I can tell you that. During halftime, I ran to my car.
Yeah.
The wind was terrible.
Bakari getting straight to work there. It'll head out of play. It will be Frontier's ball, and a top of Vincent Warner to throw it. Check that. It'll be, I believe that's Max Millette to throw it. Here's Eric Larson trying to find his way in, but Anthony Adams puts his body on the line there. And Joe Saborin getting a little physical with Vincent Warner. Up and over there, Carter Miller. Noah Carillon jumps out to make the save.
A possibly dangerous scenario there for the Tigers. If Miller had a better ball in there, that could have been really dangerous.
It's going to go wide right on the uprights there, so South Hadley gets the ball, and Nolan Massey subs in for Joe Saborin.
And there's another selfish play on the other side of the ball, Brady. Gus Radner, again, guys all around him he could have passed to, and he just takes a long drive by himself and sends it about twice as high as where he should have been aiming.
It's certainly a high risk, but, I mean, with a keeper that can only cover so much of the net, it's going to be a lot easier to score on those types of chances. But it's still a very high risk for, frankly, a low reward when you have so many other players.
Yeah, and in a game as close as this, with time winding down too, I think we're about halfway through the second half right now, still scoreless. And I mean, this is on par with what happened in the first meeting between these two teams. Scoreless until the Redhawks were able to strike late in the game, but it really could be anyone that strikes late in the game. I'd say that the Tigers have momentum right now.
Jack Shagnon working his way through the defense. Carlos David able to find it. David trying to center. Nolan Massey not able to get forward motion there. And Tyler Vincent Warner will try and set the offense back to Frontier's side.
And that was a tough collision in the box right there between Bessler and I couldn't quite tell who, but one of the forwards for the Tigers, number 13.
That was Nolan Massey.
Yeah, and the two of them collided hard, both going for the feed in from David, and both of them pretty shaken up afterwards. No call on it, which I think was the right move. If both of them went right into each other, both trying to make a play on the ball, you know, just let them do what they need to do, and no consequence on the play, really.
Sam Bakari gets it through the legs of South Hadley defender Gavin Losty. It's going to roll back to Noah Carillon, the goalkeeper, and he'll find Ari Alatalo. Alatalo up the field to Moki Kovacs, headed there by Ben Kachawongo. Goes out of play, and now Ari Alatalo looking to throw in here. Headed by Moki Kovacs. Goes out of play. And now it'll be Ben Kachawongo again. Or no, it will not. It will be, I believe that's going to be Max Millette.
Radner called for grabbing on his arm, I think is what I saw there. And once again, being too physical from number 8 in white.
TJ Donovan looking to sub in here, so he's back from what we believe was his cramp, and it's out of play.
Just a little too far off the free kick. And now, here's something to think about, Brady, as we close in. And I mean, I'm expecting a goal of some kind. I'm not expecting this to end a scoreless game. Both of these teams have had great opportunities, and we could see a goal at any second here. But if this does end up with a tie, what does that mean for the standings of the Moriarty Conference? You know, because both of these teams have one more game against a Moriarty competitor in their roster, or in their schedule, I should say. And then it's going to come down to that.
We could likely see co-champions if this game were to go to a tie.
Yeah, they have identical records right now. If it's a tie, it will stay identical. Great defensive play there to poke it out between the legs of Pachurik.
So, South Hadley's league game is against Southwick?
East Hampton is
East
what
Hampton.
I saw on Arbiter. Yeah,
And
and Frontiers is against Southwick.
Okay.
Which is, South Hadley has 2 more games, independent games, outside of the
Chicopee
Moriarty
High and
Conference.
Minichog, yes.
Yes, so they have 3 games left. Frontier only has 1 after this game, and it's in league against Southwick. And Southwick, it's safe to say, should be a win for the Redhawks. Last time they played them, they beat them 6-1. So, a pretty significant score
I believe
there.
South Hadley's last game with East Hampton was a win.
Yes, 4-0,
All
I
right,
believe.
So, hopefully should lead to.
Which, then again, tie here, both teams win that game, co-champions, which would be...
So you can't really complain.
No, I mean, you can't complain, but it would be an interesting, I think, a rarity that I've seen in the banners in the gym at Frontier. I forget what sport it was, but it was tri-champions, where it was 3 teams that had tied for the top spot in their conference. I don't know how many years back. It was a while ago, that's for sure. But I don't think I've ever seen or heard something of that nature in my time doing this, Brady.
Yeah, for as long as I know, whenever we're a champion of a league, whether it's co-champions, tri-champions, what have you, it always just goes up as league champions in our gymnasium.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So.
I don't know if they would do it anymore, but I think this was probably back in the 90s when they had it, when they put it up there. And another line drive into the stands.
These Tigers fans really need to invest in some protection for themselves.
Yeah. At Frontier, there's a little bit of more height on the stands and a little bit of a gap because there's also the track in between the field of play and the stands itself. So it's very rare that we even see a ball go into the actual stands itself.
I know at South Hadley we outsource our track facilities to nearby Mount Holyoke College. I don't know. I guess you guys have one on site, which is ideal, clearly, but we do use the surrounding area for training for track. I know you'll see people running around the campus frequently during track season. Headed out off the leg of Carlos David, and it'll be Frontiers ball as this clock continues to wind down.
It was so close. Even when I was zoomed out, it looked good.
And that's been the move for the back line of the Tigers pretty much all night. If they get the ball, they just pass it back to
play to Carillon.
Yeah, I mean, it's been working for them so far, but they've also done it in some very risky positions as well.
It's past Nolan Massey, Ethan Markham trying his best. He's moved up to, I'd say, almost a striker there. Matt Gillis looking for Kovacs, headed there by Cachawongo. Parsons fighting for it there with Pachurik.
We haven't seen a lot of Pachurik in the more recent minutes of this game. The driving force of offensive production for the Redhawks, and that will be fired to the right of the net for the Tigers. But
great ball for Kovacs, just can't connect on the shot there.
Yeah, it was a great take and a great setup too in the box for the Tigers. But we haven't seen a lot of offensive opportunities for the Redhawks in this second half. The momentum has definitely swung the way of the Tigers. And like that, in the first half, that pass from Cusson would have gone to a Redhawks player, but now it goes straight to a Tiger in midfield.
It's those simple mistakes that the Tigers were making that first half. You know, you think of it as the field's tilted. As there was almost a great chance for Pachurik. As Carillon gets tripped up, so does Adams. They'll both get back to their positions pretty instantly. Jack Shagnon working on the far side. Shagnon advances. Moki Kovacs keeps it in bounds. Kovacs almost finds Nolan Massey, and it's headed out of play. Kept in that by the fence this time.
Wait, you said
probably invest in some netting for there.
Yeah, I think you guys really should. Especially some of the old folks sitting there. I mean, that would really do a number.
Right.
What Frontier needs to invest on is some protection with the baseball field, because people line up right on the foul lines, and we've seen people get hit numerous times.
You guys have good turnout at your baseball games?
More or less. It's the same thing, similar thing with field hockey, because they don't play in our actual stadium where we have stands and everything. So people have to bring their own chairs and blankets to go and watch. We do get decent turnout, and it's one of the more popular spring sports that we have as well. So out of all the spring sports, probably the best turnout, but in the grand scheme of everything we have there, I would say not the best.
Baseball is definitely one of our least attended sports, as much as I wish it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'd say for spring, lacrosse probably takes it, but they also play here where there's stands and everything.
Yeah.
There's usually a concession stand open as Henry Pleasant comes back in.
And that will be a timeout taken by the Redhawks with just about 10 minutes to go in a scoreless game still.
I'd like to take this time to sort of talk about the collaboration element of this stream. So just tell me about what you guys do over at FCAT Media.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, a lot of it is more independent then, because I heard you mention that you have one guy. Without this, it wouldn't be responsible. You guys are a branch out from something a little larger, is my understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're kind of our own relative entity. We do have a representative that has like an office in our town hall, I think, but we're pretty much entirely student run. We have one of our multimedia teachers, Kevin Murphy, who kind of facilitates everything, has all of the equipment, and a couple paid employees. But the big thing for us is getting, the volunteer work and getting on site and doing mostly camera work. So it's my senior year. I think a big concern for Kevin Murphy is finding someone else who does what I do to carry that on once I graduate at the end of this year.
It'll likely be the same thing for me come next year. Next year is my senior year.
Yeah.
And there's not many play-by-play announcers at South Hadley High who are willing to fill into the role. I think it's very similar to what we have going on here, because even though the studio, they are the ones who hold on to all of our equipment, all the editing, graphics work, and clearly camera work and announcers, we're all student-led, and the setups and breakdowns, it's all student-led. So I think it's a very similar scenario here at South Hadley High.
Yeah, and I'll say it is a great scenario. It's a lot of fun, and being able to have like-minded people around you that have just a shared passion. It's such a great environment to facilitate this kind of work and make productions like these, which are it's so much fun to cover all of this, and especially when you have two great teams like this. One of the best matchups we're likely to see in the regular season, and just being able to be here and do what we love to do, Brady, it's a gift. It is.
It is. I won't touch on this for too long because clearly we got to get back to the game.
Yeah.
But South Hadley Sports Network is a relatively new program, as this is just our second season of operation. How long have you guys been doing FCAT Media?
So we haven't been doing this kind of stuff for very long. This is a little bit more recent, the sports coverage, but we've had FCAT Media going on for a fairly long time. Mostly what it has been before the sports stuff is just coverage of a lot more local events, some music performances that happened at the school, as that ball is sent right underneath us. But it has turned more towards the sports at Frontier more recently. And actually, we've covered a few football games for Franklin County Tech in the past several years. That's a very good football team. As compared to, I'd say, both of our schools.
Yeah. Again, a very similar situation to the way it is at South Hadley High. Our, parent company, SHCTV 15, sort of a similar situation to FCAT itself, with covering local events like town meetings, school board meetings. But then South Hadley Sports Network is a little subsidiary where it's just dedicated to sportscasts. And
yeah.
That's more student facilitated, whereas the just SHETV 15 stuff, that's majority their studio and their crew.
Yeah, that's what happens over at FCAT too. And a lot of the time it's town halls and select boards and whatnot. And I'm not involved in any of that. And when I am, I get paid for it. This is just volunteer work. But,
yes.
I don't mind. It's a lot of fun.
And it's the reps that we need to get for
exactly.
college and for the future.
Yeah. But now we're still scoreless, and it seems more and more likely that we'll just end this way, as we now have just about 6 minutes left.
And the Tigers looking to work something out here, and now it's going to be Carter Miller and Henry Pleasant. Beautiful slide there from Anthony Adams to get the ball out of Pleasant's possession. The Mets are winning.
The Mets are winning. I've got a Mets shirt underneath all of my layers here.
I will likely throw on a Pete Alonso jersey when I get home. They're my playoff team.
They're my team in the regular season, too.
I'm a Red Sox fan. But
no, I respect it. I can appreciate a Red Sox fan. I won't do the same for Phillies fans, though. That's where I draw the line.
That's me with Yankees fans.
Yeah, I understand it.
If we play Frontier for baseball, we might have to run this type of collaborative stream back. Would you be interested?
Oh, absolutely. I think that would be fantastic. Baseball I haven't called as much in the past, although one of my favorite streams that I ever did, and this is a little This is just a little tidbit of history for me. I think it was, I guess, 2 years ago. It was Frontier got to the Western Mass Finals against Smith Voke, I believe it was, and they played at Greenfield. We went to cover them, and it was a comeback win in the last inning. And it was, I mean, my commentary has progressed since then, I can definitely say, but definitely one of the most exciting games I've ever covered.
Noah Carrillo makes a great save there, and that's going to keep South Hadley's chances alive. I will say baseball is my favorite to call, but home games here, I'm always doing the media side of things with the, playing music, walk-up songs,
Absolutely.
public address announcements. I actually have an internship to do public address for the Valley Blue Sox this upcoming
Really?
summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So baseball has always been my number one, and I would love to do something like this for a baseball game if we end up playing each other at some point this year.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. And, I mean, I'm not sure. I think that last year, 2 years ago, was the best season for Hawks baseball in recent memory for me. But I think last year they got into Western Mass, maybe lost in the second round. It was against Hampshire, though. I remember that.
Tigers didn't qualify for Western Mass this past year. I think that just comes down to opponent rating. The same thing happened for our state's qualification. We were the 33 seed. We ended up winning the qualifier, and we played the 1 seed, and clearly we got wiped because it was the 1 seed. But we could have made a far better run if our opponent rating wasn't as bad. Big, huge corner kick here, vital corner kick. I believe that is
Radner. Too far, and he sends it out of bounds. And now I was going to say in the first place, this is a contested call. He said that it went out of bounds on South Hadley, which the touch on it, I'd say definitely was questionable. There was a lot going on in the box, and so a very pivotal call made by the ref. And if a goal had been scored off of that, I don't doubt that a lot of Tigers fans would have been very upset about it.
Couldn't agree more. Jack Shagnan's going to work to get this through the middle. Could be one of the last offensive chances for South Hadley. Moki Kovacs on the far side. Chopped up there by Diego Frazier. Great work from Frontier's back line there. Once again, able to chop up what could have been a vital chance for the Tigers in this game and this division. Brady Graham on the line to sub in. They're going to want him to sub in quick.
Whistle could be at any moment now, Brady, and we're still looking at nothing on the scoreboard, 0-0. And chances going both ways right now.
Carlos David going to want to start something for South Hadley here. Matt Gillis trying to work his way around the defender. Ethan Markham slips up there. Headed out into open space. Nolan Massey looking to keep it in. Massey finding Carlos David almost. Now Matt Gillis trying to pull it forward. Gillis double teamed there. Ethan Markham, some smooth moves there. Collision there with Gus Radner. It's going to head up the field from Miller to Pleasant there. Miller gets back to it. I don't know how Eric Larson's playing without an undershirt. I would be frozen by now.
That's incredible. I'll give him tons of credit for that.
Oh yeah, no matter who wins this game, Eric Larson. Matt Gillis, huge chance. Goalie's able to eat it up there. Jack Cusson, vital save for Frontier in this game. Would have been a beautiful chance for Matt Gillis there.
And a really lucky bounce for the Redhawks. If that had gotten slowed down a little bit by anything, it could have gone South Hadley's way, been the decisive goal in this game. But the Tigers on the offensive right now.
A lot of South Hadley players wearing short sleeves too. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Gavin Losty sets up a big kick to Matt Gillis there. Heads it over the defender. And that'll be Max Millette, who tried to get it down to Hampshire's, or not Hampshire, Frontier scoring end. It's Hampshire again. Spencer Parsons working for it with, I believe that's Gus Radner. Ari Alatalo trying to work his way up the far side.
A great fake to get past Max Millette. Use Millette's speed to his advantage and let him just blow right by him.
Eric Larson looking to get some momentum going here. Tripped up there, Carlos David. There's a call.
What?
And that is the game. I thought that was going to be a foul called on the play.
Wow.
But man,
One of the most important games this season. We kept calling it a close game, and how much closer do you get? 0-0 draw, your final score from the South Hadley Veterans Memorial Turf.
Wait, so
It all comes down to your guys' game against Southwick and our game against East Hampton.
and we'll be keeping an eye on it, that's for sure. I mean, huge games for both of them, and a lot of respect from both sides. Carlos David going over and congratulating the players of Frontier on a game. I mean, these guys are so evenly matched, and I mean, I think the only other team that Frontier has played this season that I think comes close to this kind of a matchup was Hampshire. They were able to tie with Hampshire 1-1, and I mean, talk about a nail biter. This game and that Hampshire game for the Redhawks right up there for this season.
Yeah, so South Hadley and Hampshire will walk off the field with heads held high, and an important couple weeks for these two squads. That's going to do it for our stream. Thank you so much for watching. For South Hadley Sports Network, I'm Brady Dennison, alongside FCAT Media's Mason. What's your last name again?
Smith.
So sorry about that.
It's all right.
Have a great rest of your night.